The ABC seems to be struggling with the truth a little bit at the moment. 2 weeks ago I told you they were referring to illegal immigrants in the US as irregular immigrants, whatever that means, and last week I played you a clip from their radio news in which they found a Jew who opposed Isaac Herzog's visit to Australia. And I brought it up because they somehow managed to link Herzog's visit to a threatening letter sent to a mosque. But what we didn't know last week was that they'd actually attributed those comments to the wrong person, who I've since spoken to, and she was quite distressed that the ABC had ascribed to her a comment that she never made and she completely disagreed with. Well, this week they struggled to correctly identify the man who killed 9 people in a Canadian school shooting, one of the worst mass shootings in the country's history. Jesse Van Rootselaar was a biological man who identified as a transgender woman. But the ABC reported it thus: Canadian police have identified the person who carried out a school massacre as an 18-year-old woman with mental health issues. The killer, who police named, killed herself after the shooting on Tuesday local time in Tumbler Ridge, a remote community in the Pacific province of British Columbia. No mention of the fact this murderous quote-unquote woman is actually a man. You have to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 paragraphs in before they finally acknowledge that she is actually a he. And it was even worse on the 7 o'clock bulletin, where they didn't even mention that he was transgender.
Police have named an 18-year-old with a history of mental health issues as the sole suspect in one of the worst mass shootings in Canada's history. Police say Jesse Van Rootselaar killed her mother and 11-year-old stepbrother at their home in British Columbia before opening fire at her former school, then turning the gun on herself. 5 students and a teacher were killed and at least 25 others were injured. It's an attack that has rocked the remote community of Tumbler Ridge and left families devastated.
She, this, herself, that. I mean, for heaven's sake, this waste of oxygen killed 9 people in cold blood, and the ABC are tripping over themselves to make sure they don't misgender him, and indeed actively trying to avoid the fact that he identified as transgender. Wouldn't want to offend the murderer. I thought accuracy was a virtue in news, and this is a basic fact that readers and viewers ought to know.